Good morning, and thank you everyone for joining us. We will begin shortly. We'll give it one more minute to have folks join us and get familiar with the webinar settings, and then we will get started. All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District's 2027 to 2031 Proposed Rates webinar. My name is Danny Nealon, and I am from our Communication and Customer Relations Department. Before we begin, I just have a few housekeeping notes. This webinar will be recorded for those that were unable to attend today's meeting and will be made available on our website at neorsd.org/rates. And throughout the webinar, we welcome any questions at any time via the Q&A function. And you can find that function at the bottom of your screen or by tapping the More button and then finding the Q&A section in that menu there. And those questions may be answered in real time through that Q&A function, or we'll wait for the end of the webinar and ask our host directly. And if you have any additional questions that we did not get to answer in the Q&A or in today's webinar, you can send us those anytime at askus@neorsd.org, and we'll be happy to get you those answers. At this time, I will turn it over to our Chief Executive Officer, Kyle Dreyfus-Wells, who will be leading today's webinar.
Thanks, Danny, and good morning, everyone. As Danny said, I'm Kyle Dreyfus-Wells. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District. In addition to Danny, I'm joined by Ken Duplay, our Chief Financial Officer, to talk about our 2027 to 2031 proposed sewer and stormwater rates. I'm also joined by a bunch of other district folks that are here to answer your questions, and I just really want to thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate your interest in the work we do, what you pay, and then how we work together to manage sewer and stormwater rates. So this morning, we're going to go ahead and get started, but anywhere you are in our service area, you rely on our regional wastewater treatment and stormwater management services. And again, I appreciate your interest. So any questions you have, just fire them away, and we're happy to answer those questions. So you get one bill from the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District, and that covers two programs: wastewater treatment and regional stormwater management. And our average customer pays on average about $83 a month currently for their NEORSD bill for wastewater treatment and regional stormwater management. And under the proposed rate increase, our customers will see on average that monthly bill go up less than $3 a month year over year. And for most of our customers, that will be less than $2 a month year over year. And again, Ken and Danny and I are going to talk about that today, and we'd love to have all of your questions. So what we're going to cover kind of at a high level is our responsibilities in the region as the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District, the programs that we have, the priorities that we're looking at over the next 5 years. And then Ken will talk about our 2026 rates and then our proposed 2027 through 2031 rates. And we'll talk about how we manage our work, manage the dollars that you entrust us with, and get the results for water quality and public health for the region through sound management, smart savings, and long-term project planning. And we're also going to include information on our cost-saving resources. So anyone that's having difficulty paying their sewer and stormwater bills, we have cost-saving and affordability programs to help you. And we want to make sure that you have that information and an easy way to sign up for those programs. And we'll also talk about the next steps for our proposed 2027 through 2031 rates. So let's go ahead and get started. So we are the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District, and we provide sanitary and stormwater management services to the city of Cleveland and 62 municipalities across 4 counties. We're an independent political subdivision of the state of Ohio, governed by a 7-member board of trustees. So the best way to think about us in terms of our relationship to our member communities that you see here is that we take care of the big stuff. Big stormwater systems, big sanitary sewer systems, in conjunction with our member communities who are responsible for the local sewers and the local streams. And you see our service area here. So this is our 363 square mile service area in this blue outline. The teal area shows you the portions of all of our member communities that send their sanitary sewage to us. And then those squiggly blue lines are streams, pipes, and culverts that drain more than 300 acres of land and make up the 489-mile regional stormwater system. So we're talking about the Rocky River, the Cuyahoga River, Chagrin River, Doan Brook, Euclid Creek, so those big watersheds in our service area. And so you're seeing in real time our 2 programs on this graphic. So if we go to the next slide, you can get a picture of our budgets. So for 2026, $185 million in operating expenses across those 2 programs, $313 million in capital expenses, driven in large part by Project Clean Lake, which is the $3 billion 25-year program that we're working on to solve the region's legacy problem of combined sewer overflow, and we'll talk about that more. We have about $123 million annual debt service payment on about $1.8 billion in debt. So that's just a snapshot of our 2026 budget. And we do the work of the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District across 3 programs. So we operate the region's 3 wastewater treatment plants. We have the Easterly Wastewater Treatment Plant, which you see a picture of here, which is at the city of Cleveland Bracknell border on the shores of Lake Erie. We have our Westerly Wastewater Treatment Plant, which is over by Edgewater Beach, also on the shores of Lake Erie. And then our Southerly Wastewater Treatment Plant is the largest wastewater treatment plant in the state of Ohio, the 12th largest in the country. And that's the wastewater treatment plant that you see as you come into the city of Cleveland on 77. So we have our 3 plants treating about 90 billion gallons of wastewater in a typical year, 90 billion gallons in 2025. Then we have Project Clean Lake, which is our $3 billion 25-year program to deal with Northeast Ohio's legacy issue of combined sewers. And so as Cleveland and some of our inner ring suburbs built, at the time that they built, folks thought it was a good idea to put sanitary sewage and stormwater into the same pipe. So that is a combined sewer. Obviously, that can lead to discharges of untreated sewage during wet weather, during rain events. And so we are solving that problem through Project Clean Lake, cutting that CSO volume by 4 billion gallons. And then we have our regional stormwater management program, which is addressing legacy and ongoing issues related to impervious surfaces, so driveways, parking lots, rooftops, other areas that do not absorb water and can cause flooding, erosion, and water quality problems. So that is how we do our work at the sewer district. And your fees that you pay fund that work in different parts. So the sewer fee funds all the work that we do at the treatment plants, the large sewer pipes that get the wastewater from local communities to our wastewater treatment plants. The sewer fee also funds all the work under Project Clean Lake to deal with this legacy issue of combined sewer overflow. The stormwater fee, which is based on the amount of hard surface on your property, is what funds the regional stormwater management program. So let's talk about both of those programs. So Project Clean Lake, as I said, is our $3 billion 25-year program to deal with Northeast Ohio's legacy issue of combined sewer overflow. So when the sewer district was formed in 1972, we inherited about 9 billion gallons of overflow in a typical year. Through the good work of the district, we took that down to 4.5 billion gallons when we signed our consent decree in 2011, and we are well on our way to getting that down to less than 500 million gallons of overflow in a typical year. 98% capture, which is one of the highest percent captures from a combined sewer overflow community in the country. And we are doing that with three main components: operational upgrades and expansions at the wastewater treatment plants so that they can handle the additional flow and treat that before it is discharged to Lake Erie. The construction of 7 deep tunnels that you see on this graphic spread across the combined sewer area, and then large pump stations that take the flow that is stored in those deep tunnels during wet weather events, pump it to the wastewater treatment plants where it can be treated, and then put back into Lake Erie so that we can all drink it again. That is the core of Project Clean Lake. You see a couple pictures here of what that looks like. This is our Easterly wastewater treatment plant, which was one of the first plants that we did extensive expansion. And then we built the deep tunnels on the east side, the Easterly tunnel dewatering pump station, to get that flow to our Easterly plant where it is now treated and discharged to the environment, as opposed to in the past when that water would just go directly to Lake Erie untreated. Also, you see our shoreline storage tunnel that is standing in the bottom of the tunnel, bottom of one of the shafts looking up. And that shoreline storage tunnel is picking up combined sewer overflow points that went directly to Lake Erie, picking up those points, getting it to our plant so that it can be treated and put back safely into Lake Erie. So that is just a picture of the plant expansions and the tunnel construction. We also have a significant amount of green infrastructure in our consent decree, and then we also fund green infrastructure projects in partnership with development projects, community development organizations, and others that are doing redevelopment projects in the city of Cleveland and the combined sewer area. This is our Fleet Avenue Green Infrastructure Project, which is picking up stormwater before it gets in contact with sanitary sewage and basically preserving that capacity in the sewer system. So Project Clean Lake has had a huge amount of success over the last 10 years, 2 billion gallons of combined sewer overflow reduction, 76 projects completed or active. I say that there's 2 remaining, but these are big projects, $300 million, $200 million projects, and nearly $6 million in value engineering savings. So that's just a quick snapshot of Project Clean Lake, and that is addressing the legacy issue of combined sewer overflow. Let's transition now to our regional stormwater management program, which is dealing with the legacy but also ongoing impacts of hard surfaces and the need to control stormwater to limit flooding, erosion, and water quality problems. And you see some of these flooding problems here. So this is Doan Brook flooding up into Martin Luther King Jr. Drive in University Circle. So that's an example of the flooding problems that we are responsible for solving in our region. Then this is Mill Creek, which is a tributary to the Cuyahoga River. This is in Garfield Heights. You can see this significant erosion as Mill Creek, like a classic urban stream, has low flow during when it's not raining, high aggressive flows when it is raining, and it just chomps away at that stream bank. So we have since fixed this particular problem in Garfield Heights. So across our 363 square mile service area, there are $1.4 billion in stormwater management needs. This is road flooding, street flooding, basement flooding, all these issues that need to be addressed as we put this system back together. So that's just a quick look at our regional stormwater management program. You see some successes that we've had with this program so far. This picture that you see on the left is behind the Cleveland Museum of Art, standing in Doan Brook, looking up. You see that significant erosion. And we constructed a great stream restoration project in that portion of Doan Brook, 963 linear feet of restoration. This is what it looks like today. adding that floodplain back so that Doan Brook can come out of its banks, flood in appropriate way, slow that flow down, and not cause a infrastructure concern and a public safety risk, and also a water quality concern. So under our regional stormwater management program, we have 103 projects completed, over 8,000 feet of culverts repaired and replaced, 81,000 cubic yards of debris removed, and we only remove debris from streams where it makes sense to do that. We recognize the habitat that debris provides. 52 acres of floodplain restored, 60, go ahead, John. 69 stream restoration or stabilization projects, and over 47,000 linear feet of stream restored or stabilized under our regional stormwater management program to date. So again, that's just a quick look at the work that the sewer district does. One bill, two programs, wastewater treatment, regional stormwater management. And I'm going to turn it now to Ken Duplay, our Chief Financial Officer, to talk about the rates that fund this work. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Kyle, and good morning, everyone. As Danny mentioned earlier, my name is Ken Duplay. I've been the Chief Financial Officer here at the Regional Sewer District for almost 10 years, but I've been with the Sewer District as far back as 2003 when I started in the Finance Department as an intern. This is the fifth race study that I've been involved in here, and every one has been managed with our customers and our commitments in mind across both of the utilities that Kyle just described. So to understand the proposed rate changes, let's quickly talk about the ways we determine our customers' monthly charges. The first program, the sewer service program, the sewer fees, is a combination of a monthly fixed fee plus a volumetric fee that's based on actual water consumption or water usage. Here are the fees for 2026 that our customers are currently paying. You see whether you pay the regular rate or the reduced cost savings program rate for eligible homestead or rate reduction program customers. All customers pay a fixed cost recovery charge plus the usage charge based on consumption per MCF or 1,000 cubic feet of water, which is also 7,480 gallons of water. Our proposed change for their sewer rates is a 2% annual increase on the sewer side, which calculates as you see on the next slide. And as you move forward through those years, the year over year, the fixed charge increases about 25 cents a month, 15 cents a month for the homestead and rate reduction customers, and the usage charge increases about $2.70 a month, or $1.60 a month for homestead and rate reduction customers. These are our proposed sewer rate changes. For the second program, the Regional Stormwater Management Fee has a three-tiered structure based on the square footage of impervious surface on your property. This includes driveways, rooftops, patios, and hard surfaces that generate runoff and contribute to regional stormwater stormwater problems like flooding, stream bank erosion, and water quality issues. So here's the tier structure for the stormwater management services. Your property's impervious surface is calculated, and that determines which tier applies to you. Most customers are in tier 2. This is what customers pay for regional stormwater services in 2026. And here is how that fee structure would change for 2027 through 2031 with our proposed rates. This comes out to an increase anywhere from 10 cents a month to 44 cents a month per year, depending on which tier is yours. Mm-hmm. So you may be a customer who pays a sewer bill only. You may be a customer with just a stormwater bill, but the majority of our customers pay a bill, one bill with both programs. So here we'll take a look at what our average customer bill will look like. The average customer is in stormwater tier 2, and they use a 1/2 of MCF of water every month, which comes to about 3,740 gallons. 2026, the average customer is paying just over $83 a month for sewer and stormwater charges. And here's how our rate changes would impact that bill over the next 5 years. On average, year over year, most customers will see their bill increase by less than $2 a month. That's the rate increase impact across both programs. Because our water consumption drives more customer bills month to month, the actual impact will change, but the averages give you a good point of reference when considering how these changes affect your bill. More importantly, what the value of the service we provide really is. So I'm going to hand it back to Kyle to hit on some of those impacts and how we manage to maximize the positive impact of your rates while minimizing the burden on you as ratepayers. Kyle?
Thank you, Ken. Before we close out, Ken and I and all of us did just want to talk about the approach that we take every day to running the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District, recognizing that we have a responsibility to be very, very careful with the dollars that you entrust us with. So we take an approach of sound management, smart savings, and project planning. And we're just going to give you a couple examples of that. So on the sound management side, on the sewer side of the work that we do, I'll just tell you quickly the story of our Westerly wastewater treatment plant. If you go to Edgewater Beach, you know that this is quite a busy piece of real estate. You've got Edgewater Park, you've got Wendy Park, you've got the port there, and you have us there operating a wastewater treatment plant. And we this year have done a massive construction project there called our Westerly Chemically Enhanced High Rate Treatment. That is to provide some additional control for combined sewer overflow that comes through that point. That is an $81 million investment in cleaner water going into Lake Erie, which is so essential for all of us. And we operated our wastewater treatment plant throughout all of this construction with 100% permit compliance. That is a massive task as you are doing a big, big construction project in a really confined space. So that is the daily work that we do at managing the district. Then on the stormwater side, let's talk about our Bonnie Banks Basin in Parma. This is a big detention basin to deal with basement flooding, street flooding in this neighborhood of Parma, $2.7 million project, increasing storage by over 20 million gallons, done in close coordination with the community and with the officials that work in the city of Parma. 80% of the development happened in our region before we had stormwater management codes, floodplain management, etc. So we are knitting this system back together, and this Bonnie Banks Basin is an example of that. Then if we look at smart savings, our Southerly Tunnel and Consolidation Project is an example of this. This is a massive tunnel construction project, $328 million, 760 million gallons of combined sewer overflow control across this project, $80 million in value engineering savings. We are constantly looking for ways to make smart decisions and save dollars as we build these massive infrastructure projects. And on the stormwater side, this comes from being proactive and preventative, looking for problems before they become big problems, addressing things when it's not raining so that we can have fewer emergencies, improve function, and protect our communities and the residents that we serve. And then I'll turn to Ken to talk about this approach on project planning.
Again, Kyle. Project planning is a critical component of how we manage our need to deliver upgrades and projects across the region in both of our programs. The sewer district has incurred $1.7 billion in debt, primarily to fund the Project Clean Lake, the projects that Kyle has talked about. We're always looking for ways to manage our funds and our cash to the best extent possible. It includes using a balance of debt and cash to pay for projects. From 2022 through 2026, we spent over $631 million of cash on capital projects, in addition to balancing debt where it made sense to result in the best outcome for customers with rates long term. The stormwater side is a totally cash-funded program. There's no debt incurred for that program. We're continually working with the stormwater professionals to look at the best ways to prioritize projects and deliver the most projects with the most impact across the region. while also balancing the need to effectively control rates. So with that, we'll bring it back to this slide and just reiterate, the majority of our customers receive one bill for the two programs that we provide. And the average impact of our proposed rate increases for 2027 through 2031 will be less than $3 a month year over year for our typical customer. Some of you may not know, but we do have 5 cost saving programs available to our customers who may be in need. There's a variety of programs based on income and other factors that may allow you to reduce your sewer and stormwater fees. We've made improvements as we've gone through rate studies in the past that have expanded eligibility to more customers, as well as adopted a more expanded and personalized customer outreach approach. For more information on our customer cost savings programs, please go to neorsd.org/save or call us at the number on the slide. And then finally, our next steps as we move forward, we're conducting public outreach here in May. That includes this webinar you're watching today. All the resources and recordings of other public outreach activities is available at neorsd.org/rates. We plan to bring a resolution before our Board of Trustees at their June 4th meeting to make these proposed rate changes available for comment to our member communities. And should they be adopted by our board, the 2027 rates will take effect January 1st, 2027.
So thanks, Ken. With that, I'll turn it back to Danny, and we look forward to having a conversation.
There are no questions at this time, but in case anybody would like to ask one, again, you can use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen or by hitting the 3 dots where it says More and opening that menu and finding the Q&A there. While we wait to see if there are any questions coming in, just as a reminder, this webinar was recorded, so if your neighbor or a family member was unable to join us this morning, please let them know they can find the recording at neorsd.org/rates, along with our other information that Ken was talking about regarding cost savings opportunities and ways to save on their bill. And you can ask us questions at any time via the email address askus@neorsd.org. And I am not seeing any other questions coming in at this time. So with that, we can conclude the webinar. And thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks, everyone.